Hey, welcome back to Bowtech Live. This is the Target edition. This is not Target Tuesday, this is Target Monday, but we have a special treat for you today. This past weekend was the NFA Mark 3D Championship, and coming off last year's win, we have Paige Gore, who did it again. But before we get to Paige Gore, we want to share several of our shooters that actually placed really high up in the pro division. So let's start off with Ivana Budin. She actually competed in the same class as Paige in the women's pro division, and Paige Gore's sister-in-law, Heather, just edged out Ivana. I'm looking at Paige here, we're kind of smiling, we were talking about it. In the shoot-off, so basically one arrow closest to the center, and Heather beat out Ivana. So it was a little bit bittersweet for Paige, but it's good to see those two in there as well. So. But we also had Tim Gillingham and Dave Stepp. These both are Team Bowtech pro shooters. They topped the men's team event, and they actually both shot clean. So basically, if you don't know what the team event are, it's basically best arrow. So you both shoot the target, you take the best arrow, and those two cleaned it. So I think Paige competes with her husband in the team event. So, but like I said, we have Paige Gore live from her car. How you doing, Paige?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good, good. You have been on a busy schedule, and I know you're out doing some errands. I see your arrows are behind you.
Yes.
You have Sarah with you, spending some time before you go.
I do. Over here.
She didn't think I was gonna cue her in there.
Oh, she's here.
But well, how are you feeling? You have been traveling nonstop before you got to Reading.
You know, good. We're super tired. Right before Reading, we got back from China. Mm-hmm. So adjusting from that time change is always a nightmare, but we did it. It's fine.
Right.
And so now we're here today and tomorrow, and then we fly out tomorrow night to head to Gator Cup in Florida. So there's really no rest for us. It's kind of, we got 1 or 2 days to recover. I'm doing some work and then right back at it.
See, a lot of people, we were talking about work and a lot of the shooters before we went live on the air, but you actually have a job outside of shooting, so you have to get all that in there together.
Yeah, it's hard. I run a nonprofit organization, so it's kind of nice because I can do a lot of it from the road, but there is some stuff that I have to have done this week, so I'm just cramming it all in these 2 days, and then I'll leave again for Gator Cup. Yeah,
we're talking about you're putting together a big benefit dinner that you're not going to be at, so you have to get everything squared away before you go.
Yeah, it's like 450 people, and it's catered, and it's a full auction, so I have like a really amazing team of people that I get to work with for that, and they're going to cover my back, so that's good. So thankfully I have them there, but yeah, I'm trying to help as much as I can while I'm still in the States.
Well, kudos to you for being that involved in, as much as you do inside the competitive ring, also outside with events like this. That's awesome. I don't know how you do it.
It's busy.
I bet. And you've put some hunting in between all these trips. I know you've had some great hog photos and some turkey stuff. I know you and Dave are rubbing in some turkey kills while I'm out there getting skunked, but that's again, I mean, you get out there, you have the fun. It's awesome.
Yeah, you just have to make the best of the time that you have. Like I said, I'm not home a lot, so when you are home, obviously I have to do a lot of work to catch up for the time that I missed. But also, it's nice being in California. It's sunny, so we can kind of hunt whatever seasons are open. We're trying to hunt as much as possible in between all the tournaments.
You probably can hear yourself, so the mute's not on the computer here. There we go. We're off. There you go. I had it muted, and as soon as I switched it on, it unmuted. So, let's talk about Shanghai, because we started to talk about Reading. That's the big thing I want to talk about. Let's talk about Shanghai as well, because I wanted to try to get in, but you had those trips in between. But tell us about the trip to Shanghai, both on the course and also outside of that.
Yeah, it was good. It's basically all the World Cups are very similar, same format, same people. So it's always fun traveling with the U.S. team. Like, we have a really good time. We all spend so much time together that it's kind of more like family than it is like friends. So that's actually a nice thing. Like, we enjoy being together. I feel like we fight like brothers and sisters, but it was a good time. And as far as the shooting goes, I actually shot well. I actually wasn't disappointed in it, but I definitely got beat. And so some of the girls in the FIDA stuff have super stepped it up this year. And so I was just talking about that going into Reading. I'm like, man, I'm going to have to put in some more time on the FIDA side of stuff, because the scores that some of those girls are putting up are insane. I know in our qualification, the second half, I was really happy with how I shot. I shot like a 348. So it's more like we shoot 6 arrow ends at 55 yards, 50 meters. And so I was shooting like a 58 end average, you know, so 4 out of the 6 in. And I was like, that's not bad. And one of the girls actually from Korea shot a 358. So out of all the 36 arrows we shot, she missed 2.
Wow.
And like, I mean, that's incredible. So when they do something like that, you know, it's like, wow, like I shot well, but they earned it. Like, that's impressive.
Absolutely. Does that, coming to Reading, does that up your game, or do you think if you didn't have that World Cup event, it would make no difference, or does that up your game coming into Reading?
You know, in the past, I haven't done Shanghai before Reading, you know, so I don't think it obviously made a difference.
Sure. 5 years in a row didn't make a difference. 4 years before.
True. The last 3 years in Reading, I've actually shot the same score.
Right.
So I can't really say that shooting more or shooting less made much of a difference there, since the score has been consistent. Mm-hmm. But I do think that shooting that many arrows does help, because there's so many more arrows shot at FIDA. So then when you come to Reading and you shoot only 2 arrows, you know, every 10 to 30 minutes, it doesn't seem like much, and you're not really fatigued. So I think it does make it easier. FIDA is just a really good place to do like the strength and conditioning side of archery, so that way your stamina stays up.
Right, right. Those of you who are watching, make sure you get your questions in. We have a great opportunity with Paige Gore here to answer all those for you. We have a lot of great kudos coming into you, giving you congratulations. So that's awesome. Those are pouring in. So, well, let's talk about going to Reading. First thing, transitioning from that FIDA event, the World Cup in Shanghai. Did you change your bow setup? Was it the same bow, or?
So same bow, same arrows, but I did change my sight setup a little bit. For FIDA, because you're aiming at the same target and it's a large face, mm-hmm. You can shoot a pretty blurry setup, and your pin or dot can be a little blurry. So I was actually using a really big black dot in my scope housing. And for Reading, that's not a very precise thing to aim with, and it also wasn't very clear.
Right.
So I actually changed my clarifier. I went down 1, so that way my pin was a little bit clearer. Normally I shoot a 2-power clarifier, and I went to a 1.5. And then I actually changed from the big black dot to a drop pin that comes down in my scope housing instead of up. I know I've talked about it before, but I have that issue where I want to aim kind of at the bottom of the dots. And then when you have the post come from the top, if you aim below it, the post actually covers the dot. So at Reading, that actually helps me kind of avoid that issue. More than just like a typical, you know, dot in your sight would. So I did flop that stuff over. I did a little testing to make sure that I could see everything from, you know, 4 to 101, because it doesn't just have to be visible at one distance. You have to be able to see it at all of them.
Right.
So I pretty much just went back to the same setup. I actually did run an 8-power this year, though. In the past, I've ran a 7, so I was 1 power higher, which I do like if you can clear it up. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But yeah, other than that, I didn't change a whole lot.
Right. Wow. You know, that's good to hear, because a lot of people think they need to have all these different bows, and it's good to hear the pros are running generally. I know you have other bows that you move around, but it's good to hear you're transitioning. And with that, let's talk about, before we talk about Reading, let's talk about the Bowtech product. So, you know, you're Fanatic. I know you're shooting that. What part of the Bowtech bows? Now, you could shoot any bow out there you want. I mean, you've won this fight. You've won 5 times in a row, and you won without a Bowtech prior to that. But you made that transition. Why did you make that transition? And what about our Bowtech bows are taking you to that level?
Well, the bows speak for themselves, and this is something that it really means a lot to me, because, you know, when people are going out to spend their hard-earned money on something, and we're endorsing that product and we're backing that product and telling, hey, spend your money, this is worth it. I truly feel good telling them that with the Bowtech bows, because I know that they're going to love it. Mm-hmm. I think the thing that really means a lot to me is the tunability of the bows. That's something that I've always struggled with in the past. I know I've said that a ton of times, but it's 100% true. So that dual yoke system for me is huge, because I can lean the cams a little bit to help with my torque that I have on the riser. Mm-hmm. The timing is something that's really nice with the dual cam system, because, like, for example, Dave and I run our bows a little bit different. Last year, I actually ran mine with the bottom cam hitting a little ahead. This year, I'm running mine with the top hitting a little ahead, and Dave runs his even. And so there's different things with that system that you can do as well to kind of customize. It'll aim a little bit different and feel a bit different with those changes. I know another thing, like, for example, the different size stops, like the triangle stops or the different size rubber stops. I actually, shortly before Reading, put on the one size thicker just to barely shorten my draw length and up my holding weight a little bit to make it a little bit easier to execute shots on the up and down hills coming off of Shanghai where it's flat ground. Obviously, the hills of Reading is different. And so it's a really unique system in the fact that, one, it's so tunable, and two, you can really customize it. I mean, literally, you could get that bow to run from, 60 to 85% let off, no problem. And so it's not just like a one system fits all. You can take that one, or it's not to where the system is stuck. It is a one system fits all. If you want a long valley or a short valley, you can accomplish that. If you want a lot of holding weight or a little bit of holding weight, you can accomplish that. And so I love that people can customize the bow to them. And that's something that's not really available on the market outside of Bowtech. So I think that speaks volume.
Is Sarah paying attention to all this?
I don't know. Hey, are you paying all that?
Yeah, she's interested, see? Hopefully she's listening in over there, because I know she doesn't shoot a Bowtech.
Yeah, she doesn't. Maybe someday. I'll work on her.
Keep working away. Well, let's talk about Reading. You're in Reading. Take us through your first day of Reading. I know the weather was pretty decent there, which is a big, big win for Reading. So take us through your first day.
The first day, we started and shot the canyon, which there's not a lot of long shots that day, but there's a lot of tricky shots as far as angles go, or up and down hills, side hills. So I like to start there because if you're having an issue with your marks, which I didn't, which is awesome, but if you were, it's all relatively in the same distance, and so you can kind of get it figured out without as many points dropped. So I strategically start in that part of the course for that. I also struggle with the uphill stuff, and so it's nice to get that done the first day because you're more fatigued by the third day than you are starting. But the first day went great. I ended up dropping 2 points that day, and I actually dropped both points on our second target of the day. It was like a flat 40-yard mountain lion, and I shot both of them in the morning right out the bottom of the dot, and was obviously super upset because that's not the way you want to start Reading, your second target of the day. And I was like kind of starting to panic a little bit, and I was like, oh my goodness, I hope this doesn't continue. And I kind of just told myself, no, suck it up. It's fine. You can do it. If you panic, it's not going to work. And so I did. I pulled my head out, and then I ended up cleaning the whole rest of the day, which was impressive. I was really happy with that. So I felt really good coming off day one. It was a successful day for sure.
Oh, definitely. Erin McGlattery just joined, so Erin is watching you in the car.
Hi, Erin. Erin actually stayed with us all weekend and shot in my group, so it was really good to get to spend some time with my fellow Bowtech friend.
That's awesome. One big triumph, I think, from this weekend is you weren't sick. At least, hopefully, I shouldn't jinx you, but you weren't sick.
No. I really am starting to think that all the travel has a lot to do with that. Because the crazier your schedule gets, I just think your body doesn't have time to recover. So you're always on the road. There's always time changes. You're eating bad food all the time because you're never home. And I seriously think all that kind of takes a toll. But getting a couple days home, actually, even though I was competing, I'm still getting to stay at home for this tournament. So I think I'm going to feel a little bit, refueled going into these next few.
I think I have to take this back a little bit. You did have to go get some allergy help, but
I did. Get an allergy shot. I was dying, but that's normal.
That's typical for a lot of people. So I don't.
Yeah, I totally fixed it.
I don't normally have allergies, but generally when I'm down at Reading, I'm a hurting pup in the field down there.
It's definitely bad down here.
Day two. I know you're feeling pretty strong going into day two.
Yeah, I was feeling really good about it, and I'm actually really happy with how I did on day two. Day two is probably the hardest day as far as long shots go. We had Bigfoot, the elk herd, the moose down the top of the hill that's 73 yards. The elk herd's 88. Bigfoot's 101. So all of those are ones that, if you're not making perfect shots, it's very easy to miss points. And then not only are those difficult, but there are many targets in between those three that are really challenging shots as well. So I ended up dropping 4 points that day. 3 of them I felt were pretty justified. There was one I missed on an easy 47-yard wolf, and I was a little bummed about that one. But the other shots that I made, I missed one on Bigfoot, I missed one on the elk herd, and I missed one on our second target of the morning. It was like a side-hill deer. So overall, again, with the targets that we had that day, I was feeling pretty good about it.
That's awesome. It's awesome, and I think the weather held out. I was keeping an eye on it.
The weather was beautiful.
Any wind into play?
No,
or?
the First 2 days, there wasn't really any wind. There was a little bit of wind the third day, but again, it was so minimal. It's just pretty much the nicest weather we've had at Redding in years, and all 3 days were super consistent.
Day 3, were you feeling nervous at all coming, getting up in the morning, heading to breakfast, anything like that?
You know, I actually was a little stressed. I get more stressed in between like rounds than I do while I'm actually shooting. And so, of course, after day 2, you're doing the interviews at the tournament. You know, I did one with Bo Junkie, and everyone's going on like, if you can win this tomorrow, this is your 5th year in a row. No one's ever done that. Like, oh my goodness.
Right.
So I'd be lying if I said that that kind of stuff isn't in the back of your head, because it is. And obviously I want it, and I'm super competitive, and this is like my favorite tournament of the year. So I was a little worried about it. Warming up though on the 3rd day, I was actually feeling really good and was feeling really strong. But on day 3, I definitely let down a lot, which, is something that happens when you're kind of feeling that pressure a little bit. And I just didn't want to let myself shoot shots that I shouldn't shoot, if that makes sense. But yeah, I did not perform as well on day 3 as I wish I had. I dropped 5 points on the 3rd day, which to me, it was actually a pretty easy day of targets. So it was pretty ridiculous that I did that. But on the plus side, a lot of the times when I do get like nervous or hung up, kind of like that, I'll drop points out the bottom. And I actually didn't do that. I was missing some just a little bit right and a little bit left all day. So I'm not exactly sure why, but I feel like at least I beat the normal issue of dropping low. So I did feel good about that. And I just kept telling myself, try not to get down on it. Don't get mad, don't give up, because obviously each time you drop one, you're like, oh gosh, there goes another one. Like, what am I doing? But I kept it together, held it together. I finished strong. I dropped more of them toward the beginning, and then kind of pulled my head out, got a little bit better, and then cleaned out toward the end. And so that made me feel a little bit better, finishing it up.
Shout out to Ivana Budin. Looks like she just joined us a couple minutes ago. So
hi, Ivana.
Yeah, it's good having you in here.
She asked me when Redding finished. She goes, are there any more tournaments like this? Because I love it, and I love the style, and I would love to come. And she's like, it'd be awesome if there was more of these to shoot. So it was really cool that she enjoyed it, as much as I do.
And it was her first time. I know I was talking to Dom beforehand. I know we were trying to get him into the factory maybe after, but their schedules didn't quite align. But, that was their first event, which is great. I think Dom's first time was last year. And then Ivana's this year, which is awesome to hear as well.
Yeah, so, she did great.
5 times. So was that your best score? Or, I know you said you shot the same for the last several years. Was that your best score?
It tied my best score again. Right. So again, my goal is I want to hit a 1530. Like, that's what I want to do. I keep shooting 1529s.
Right.
Last year, I dropped like 2 points the last day to shoot a 1529. This year, I had a lot more of a buffer. I had 4 points I could drop, and I ended up dropping 5.
Right.
So again, it's kind of bittersweet, because when I finished, you're super happy because it's like, oh, I won. But at the same time, you're like, oh man, another 29. Like, I really wanted that to be. But again, like, you have to be a little hard on yourself, because if you're not going to improve.
Right.
But at the same time, like, you do have to take the wins and be happy and appreciate the good days that you have out there.
Absolutely.
So I was pretty excited.
That's what our we have our Monday marketing meeting in the morning, and I announced it to everybody in the office, and they asked me, is that your best score? I'm like, I think that is her best score. it's which that's still awesome, 5 in a row. So we're going 5 in a row. I think we've said that a couple of times. If you did not hear us, that was 5 in a row for Paige, and not just 5 wins, 5 in a row. I mean, that's it. Anybody else ever done that?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Talking about that, and as far as I know, they haven't. So that's kind of cool. Yeah. I know every year that keeps building. Like, I literally said, like, at some point I just need to lose so I can start that over and not feel that pressure. No. I don't mean that, but still, it does make it harder, because I remember after the second year, everyone's like, whoa, 3 in a row would be huge. And then I did it. And then 4 in a row, they were like, oh, cool, it's 4. And then I feel like for some reason 3 and 5 are like numbers that people really acknowledge.
Right.
But again, now that I was back to like that 5 in a row, it was like, oh man, that was the talk of the weekend. And so again, it just puts more pressure on yourself than you already have.
Right.
But I think it's good. I learned to work through it and deal with that, and I think I come out a little stronger in the end than I started, and that's pretty much what it's all about. So I can't complain.
Was Sarah agreeing with you that you need to lose?
Are you agreeing that I should lose? Yeah. She said definitely.
Definitely. Well, let's talk about your schedule. So I know you're probably going to the next event, Gator, right?
Yep.
I
I am.
ready.
So I leave for Gator on Tuesday night,
Mm-hmm.
and we fly in together. And then I'll be in Gator through the weekend. And then I leave next week for Turkey after I get home from Gator for the second World Cup.
Not turkey hunting, for turkey, Antalya,
Yeah.
right?
Country Turkey, yeah. And we're there for, a while. The World Cups are super long.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the time I get back from that, it's pretty much June. And then I have the FIDA Field Nationals that I think I'm going to. It's a U.S. team trials year for the FIDA Field, so I do want to go to the trials so I can try and qualify for the world team for that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's coming up, and then OPA is right after that. So we did talk before about OPA versus Salt Lake and all that stuff and how it worked out with work. So with my job, it ended up being better for me to do OPA.
Right.
Because I can work and shoot that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, pretty much I'm not going to have a break for a while. Between, like, the FIDA Field Nationals and OPA and some of the other ones, I actually have those summer camps that I run with that nonprofit.
Mm-hmm.
So the camps run Sunday through Thursday or Friday. And so pretty much I'll have my mom cover me on Sundays. I'll fly home from the tournament Sunday night, work the Monday through Thursday night, fly to another tournament that weekend. So that's going to be more or less my whole summer. So it'll be really tiring, but it'll be fine.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt that it all starts over again, right?
Yeah, it does. They actually changed the Indoor World Cup schedule this year. They're adding more events as far as we've been told. And so that's a good thing, but that's also, means more time. So I'll probably strategically pick which ones to go to, so that way I'm not gone more than I already am.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, we don't get much of a break now, for sure.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you, and you may not have an answer because you may just jump right into this. So somebody that wants to take it to the next level and compete as much as you all do on this tournament circuit, what's some good advice to be able to do that consistently? Not necessarily to win every time, but somebody that wants to be able to hit all these different events all year long. I know it can be tough, and like I said, you can just be jumping into it, but what kind of advice do you have?
Well, as far as for people getting to the next level, to be realistic with you and with everybody else, the travel's expensive. I mean, it's a hard thing to do. If you have a family, if you have kids, if you have a job, it's super hard to fit all that in. But if being a professional archer is something you want to do, if you want to get to that next level, my advice to everyone is always go to as many tournaments as you can. And obviously the bigger the tournament, the better. But even if it's a local, weekend tournament within your area, every single tournament gives you so much more experience than you're gaining shooting in your backyard practicing. I know there's a lot of people out there who shoot and shoot and shoot trying to feel prepared to go compete, but they're going to gain a lot more experience if they just go compete, because that's when you learn things about your mental game, things about your equipment, about your setup, how forgiving your equipment is in pressure situations. We can, from the pro side of stuff, we can pretty much get anything to work in practice, but it's different when you get out there, when it matters, when you're nervous. There's certain things under pressure that will perform better than others. And until you're there, you don't know that. And so, the more you're out there, you can test that. So I would just say, also make some friends, because traveling with people, one, makes it more fun and a whole lot more affordable. Obviously, Sarah is sitting here with me right now.
She said no. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I don't want to be here. But it would make no sense for her to fly home to Denmark for 3 days to turn around and come back. So again, she can stay and we can fly to Florida, and financially that makes way more sense.
Right.
We all, kind of, like I said, travel with each other and depend on each other and help each other out when we can, because we are on the road so much. We are like family. And so if it's something that you want to do, you just got to jump in. I know you're going to love the people. It's going to be fun. And like I said, any experience you can get will help you in the long run.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I don't imagine a trip to Denmark is inexpensive.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
So I know you and Dave, or Dave tries to get to as many as he can. Is Dave going to Gator Cup, or?
Dave's not doing Gator Cup. I think Dave's next one is actually going to be the FIDA Field Nationals, and then OPA as well.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So he's shooting, he's a lot more competitive when it comes to like the field side of stuff or 3D. The target stuff's really tough if you don't shoot that a lot, and he doesn't shoot that a lot. also, the World Cup stuff, you have to qualify for those teams
Right.
as well. So for that one, he definitely gets left behind. But, for the FIDAs, it's, I don't know, something that he doesn't enjoy as much. So
Sure.
I'd rather have him go to events that he actually has fun shooting.
Right. That makes sense. I mean, why do something you don't like to do?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I know you have a busy day today. I know you're going to be doing a lot of running around. That's what you were doing before we called you in. You were doing some last minute errands for the event this weekend. I appreciate you taking time to talk with us today, and I know you have a very busy week the rest of the week.
Yeah, no problem. We appreciate everything, and thank you for your support. I just, you asked me earlier about the bows and the company, and I mean, even stuff like this means so much to us, and I don't know if you guys really understand that,
Absolutely.
but there isn't another company out there, I feel like, who truly cares like what their people are doing and follows up and checks in and keeps tabs on everyone throughout the weekend. And so, we really appreciate it. I know all of us out there who are shooting Bowtech, we're talking about that. And so it's not just the equipment, it's the people that we get to work with at the company, yourself included in that.
Yeah, yep.
So, we really appreciate that. And again, it's not just like, it's a job for us. It's a lifestyle. It's so much. And so the people that we work with, I think to me mean just as much as the equipment, and Bowtech's the win on both.
Well, we appreciate that. That's awesome to hear. I mean, we enjoy having you. I was texting with Tim Gillingham over the weekend when he won. Actually, just asking about. I hadn't heard. I was texting him to find out how you finished up, and I found out about him. So
yeah, they shot amazing in the team. There's actually only been a couple teams. There have been some that have done it, but not many who've actually cleaned the tournament. So it's super impressive. And for them to do it, neither of them shot 2-3 down. There's teams over the weekend, like Paul's team, Paul Tedford is who won. He only dropped 2 points, yet his team didn't clean it. So it's really impressive that Tim and Dave ham and egged really well on different targets.
Right.
Which is really what the team round is all about. So I think it's really impressive with the overall scores they shot individually that they were able to hold it together as a team. That's really, really cool.
And a cool thing to mention is this is actually our 1.5. I say last year we won half of the team event. Jimmy Butts and Stefan actually won the team event. And a lot of people don't know that you can run a mixed team between brands for the team event, which is still cool. So we had half the win last year, then we had the full win this year. So
yeah, no, that's like I said, it speaks volumes. There was people in the men's division, women's division. I saw so many Bowtech out there this weekend, and again, like obviously watching from when I first started with Bowtech to now. Even people out there running hunting setups on realms or on range, seeing all of that stuff. It's pretty awesome. So seeing that growth, seeing everybody out there, all the shooters who shoot Bowtech, it's like a little family. So I got to speak and meet with a lot of new people this weekend, and I really always enjoy that. So
that's awesome.
Like I said, it was a really good weekend overall.
I love it. I love it. Well, again, I appreciate you for joining us. I know Sarah's probably dozing off over their way and say, "Is this over yet?" Well, I will let you go. Let you go finish up your errands. I appreciate you joining us again.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Awesome. Thank you guys for joining us on this Target Talk. Normally it's Tuesday, today's Monday, but again, we had some exciting news that we wanted to share. When you, if you need to get notified, and I definitely recommend you get notified, it's super, super easy. Text Target to 77453. You will get a text. If those of you that have done that before, you probably, my phone's right here. I got the text. I had to shut it off. So make it super easy for you to get notified whenever we go live. So it's text Target to 77453. You'll get a notification right before we go live. That way you can join us and hop in and see Paige Gore and all of our pros when they win throughout the rest of the year. So again, Paige, you go have fun doing the rest of your errands, and good luck at Gator next weekend.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks again, everybody. Thanks for joining us on Bowtech Live.